Hey, how we doing, guys? Gray here, and today we've got our week 3 battle of the BBL. As you can see, before we get into this one, it is going to be a post-com. What happened is my original recording, you're going to hear it in the background because I've got the volume on. My mic was not picked up. I don't know why. None of the settings changed. Nothing like that. There was no Windows updates, which usually is the reason why my mic doesn't get picked up. The next video, absolutely fine. So I don't know what happened on this, but my audio just didn't work at all. But we are going to have the in-game volume at least. It might be a bit quiet just because it's playing through like a recording, which was already quieter, so it's probably going to be quieter even still. If that's the case, I might put music on, but that's enough of a tangent for the start of the video. Yeah, BBL Week 3, we're going up against JustKurt and his Walt DisneyLandorus. This is the third or fourth time I think we played, and this might be the first time we haven't played in playoffs. So, a little bit less pressure on this game, but we'd still like to win. But the matchup is really, really tough. Matchup is probably in his favor just because the offensive pressure he is able to put on my team is kind of nuts. Like in hindsight, a lot of this is going to be in hindsight because when it comes to post-coms, you're able to kind of work out, or you've already worked out what went wrong and all that sort of thing. But yeah, in hindsight, I should have played built more offensively for this game. But I still think my build is going to be like good enough, and there's certainly some things on this that are going to be able to put in the work. But because I am recording this, I'm actually recording. I went to edit and found that I didn't have any volume, so I'm recording this after work on upload day. It's got to be done like right now, so there's no going to be any of the editing, the boxes with the sets on. They're not going to be there. I very quickly just brush over the sets instead because that is just going to be the quick way of doing it. So, we have a leftovers, leech seed, substitute, grassy glide, knockoff, physically defensive Rillaboom. I say physically defensive, it's still adamant with 92 in attack. This thing was going to struggle to really like offensively be able to pressure any mons on his team outside like the Swampert and the Terrakion. Most things on this team were able to take a hit just fine and kind of do a good amount in return. The best way I could see it getting value, especially because there was a Mandibuzz that he didn't bring. I'm pretty sure it was a Mandibuzz. Could be wrong. There was something that he didn't bring that was really defensive, and it might have been Skarmory, actually. I think it was a Skarmory. I don't remember. This battle happened like 2 weeks ago. It happened before Christmas, and it is upload day, so the 3rd. It's been a long time. I don't remember this game really at all. I remember a couple of like decisive turns, but I don't remember anything else. So this is going to be me watching it back, and kind of I guess I get to analyze my own game watching it back. I'm off on a tangent here, so let's get through the team, and then I can talk shit for the rest of the video. So we've got that's our Rillaboom set. We've got Boots Victini, Blue Flare, Future Sight, Eligible U-Turn. This was meant to be something of a pivot. Again, it's got a bit of defense investment, just to be able to try and take a hit from, I want to say, maybe Weavile? Maybe. Honestly, in hindsight, I don't know why I brought Boots. Boots wasn't really necessarily a great bring. I think that's because there was reliable rockers in like Swampert, and Terrakion could set up rocks on a potential switch out, because Terrakion threatens the shit out of my team. Then we had a Rock Polish Life Orb Groudon with Precipice Blades, Heat Crash, and Heavy Slam. I think this might be the first week that we have brought any other like offensive moves other than Precipice Blades and Heat Crash. So that's kind of nice. I think maybe we run Heavy Slam week 1. I don't remember. Then we got Rocky Helmet, Pex, physically defensive. Like this is almost max Fizz Def because it has to try and deal with Weavile and Terrakion. I think a little bit of Spadef that I've got in it is just to be able to live a Expert Belt Psychic from Lunala, which is kind of nuts that it can do that, but it's not something I necessarily want to do. It's just got a little bit in there to do it. Mainly because its moves are Scald, Icy Wind, Haze, and Recover. I really don't have anything to touch it. Then we got Chuckleberry, Tyranitar with Stone Edge Crunch, Low Kick, and Stealth Rock. This is really just my main switch into Lunala. It has virtually no other purpose on this team outside of dealing with Lunala, and even then that's a very questionable dealing with because after the Chuckleberry goes, or a bit of chip on it, it just dies to Focus Blast anyway. Terrakion, if it's like a boosting item, will Oko Tyranitar regardless of the Chuckleberry. And then we got Magnezone, which again is another thing that's very weak to the Terrakion. With leftovers, Thunderbolt, Flash Cannon, Toxic, and Magnet Rise. This was meant to be able to counter the Swampert, which in hindsight I didn't really need to do, but hey, it was a cool set. But I probably should have looked at maybe this being Chople as well, just to be able to try and deal with the Terrakion, because Terrakion literally just run through my team, and if Toxapex goes down, we may just straight up lose. I mean, if Toxapex and Rillaboom go down, or if Rillaboom goes down and Pex gets weakened to a point in which it can't really switch in anymore, then we are just kind of doomed to the Terrakion, effectively. But yeah, we lead off with Tyranitar. I didn't want to give the Lunala a turn one. It could just click a button. Like, it could click a button against everything on my team. And if he predicts turn one and goes for a Focus Blast as I switch into my Tyranitar, no longer is it even an attempted switch in. So I want to lead off with it. I mean, looking at this matchup, like, Terrakion just destroys my team. It's four of my, I guess, three of my 6 Mons are going to be OHKO'd by it. Weavile as well is a big problem because, like, again, 3 of my Mons don't appreciate it. If it's got low kick, Tyranitar doesn't appreciate it. So yeah, this is where the issue was. Like, maybe I should be more offensive instead of trying to find ways of switching into his offense. Maybe I should have just gone even more offensive and tried to like overpower his offense, I guess, or just outspeed it at the very least. Like, I have nothing that outspeeds either Weavile or Terrakion on this build. Yeah, so enough of the negativity. Let's just go ahead and press play and get into this battle. There's so many things on this team that were really problematic for me as my face is just lit up. I don't know why my exposure is so weird, but I'm going to roll with it because that's how it was. My exposure was absolutely atrocious in the regular. Like, let me just move this out of the way. Look how bad it was. I guess that's not too bad, but it looked worse when the screen was black. Let me put that back. So we've got like polar opposites. I am super bright in this one, and I was not bright at all in the previous. So yeah, he leads off with Lunala, and I thought this was just like ideal. If it's Coalberry, then we pop a Coalberry turn 1. I want to set up Rocks because honestly his removal was this and Salamence. So I felt like Rocks were going to be pretty good for at least like chipping down the Weavile, chipping down the Terrakion slowly over time. But at the same time, maybe clicking Crunch turn 1. I think a lot of this early game, or at least these first few turns, I'm just not wanting to give Terrakion a switch in, because like Crunch is so obvious here that I was like, if I click Stealth Rock, he switches out. I can go into Pex on close combat, and we start that whole thing. But also, like, Tyranitar and Toxapex are both weak to ground, and if he runs high horsepower, or Earthquake, you might run Earthquake over high horsepower, then it does become a bit of an issue, and that becomes a thing in this game. He actually Willows turn 1, and this really sucked. If I was a special Tyranitar, different story. It would have been absolutely fantastic, but we do still have our Rocks, which means that Lunala can never keep its boots. Keeps it its Shadow Shield, as long as it is not boots. We are going to be able to break it on this turn. In hindsight, I guess I also didn't want it to be weakness policy and just sweep me turn 1. So that's another reason why I didn't crunch. I was expecting the Terrakion to come in here, but I did not have the balls to click Low Kick. Low Kick would have done like a solid 50%, just under maybe. And you see me hovering over it. I know it's quite difficult to see because of the webcam, but I hovered over it, and then I just cowered it out and clicked Stone Edge instead. Don't know why I did that. I've still got the Chople. I guess if it broke the Chople, then it was an issue, but if I was really wanting to predict him to stay in, then I just click Crunch there. But unfortunately, he does get the Terrakion in, and it only takes a little bit of damage. I mean, it's still a decent amount of chip. That's effectively like 20% on it, but it could have been so much more if I click Low Kick there. And honestly, like, we find out on this turn that this thing is Life Orb, and being able to have got that chip damage would have been huge, because Life Orb would have meant that he maybe had like 6 or 7 hits, at most 6 or 7 hits after a Low Kick. That means that also if he switches in, switches out, he's be taking some Rocks damage, which is a little bit extra chip again. I didn't want to go into Pex because I didn't want to take potential Earthquake. I thought Earthquake was a pretty safe mid ground if he got it. He just close combats, and we see this does a absolute shit ton of damage. Not great for us at all, but I don't expect him to want to stay in. This thing is a massive threat to my team. If he stays in and clicks close combat here, then so be it. I think I just click Leech Seed, expecting the Salamence to come in. Salamence is a pretty free switch in, but we've already lost a lot of HP on our Rillaboom, and even though we're going to be able to recover some of this back, it's not going to be likely enough. I believe I clicked Leech Seed, so on this turn I believe I was in the mood to predict. I wasn't in the mood to predict, apparently, turn 1. But it's also bad because I'm getting Grassy Terrain, and do I just click Grassy Glide? I just click Grassy Glide, okay. As he shows Salamence to be a switch. So again, I wasn't in the mood to predict, apparently, in this game. Just went for the really obvious... Like, I was so scared of that Terrakion that I think I made just super obvious plays, and yeah, we're going to Grassy Glide for all of 2 damage. Really worth it. But we were able to get some Sand Chip. Like, the Sand Chip has done more damage than I have with any of my mons, I'm pretty sure, at this point. So, yeah, we're going to get the leftovers. We're going to get Grassy Terrain, but one of them's negated by the Sand. And I had to try and work out what my switching is to this, because I honestly don't have a great switching, because Pex is there to check the Terrakion, the Weavile, now the Salamence, and it was a lot. It was a lot for Pex to try and deal with, but I do go out to Pex. I think that if he's physical, then he's not going to be doing a ton of damage to me. He looked to be fairly bulky, and the fact that he's Intimidate doesn't make me think that he's some kind of Dragon Dance set necessarily. He could have been, by all means, but he does just go for the Dragon Claw, and this is going to do very little. We're going to get the Rocky Helmet Chip, which is fantastic. The Sandstorm goes away, and we're able to get some Grassy Terrain recovery, which doesn't necessarily matter too much, but at least we're going to be back in at full. I'm just going to click Scold. I don't see a reason not to click Scold here. I'm pretty sure I'm just going to click it. Do I click Icy Wind? I shouldn't click Icy Wind here because he has so many switch-ins. I think the Swampert is coming in. If I remember rightly, Swampert comes in here, and we do click Scold eventually. There we go. Like, sometimes I just need to click buttons, and I just don't click buttons. That is the Swampert. And at the time I thought it was great, because I get the Scold Burn here, I believe. Yeah, so this will cancel out any leftovers recovery he gets. Also cancels out the Grassy Terrain recovery that he's going to get here. But he doesn't show an item, so I assume that maybe he is like Rindo Berry or something, or maybe Assault Vest. Regardless, I'm just thinking my best play is to go into the Rillaboom here. Try and get some more health back, and this time I actually will Leech Seed, because the thing in front of me is less of a threat than it was prior. So he's going to just set up rocks, yeah. I think I'm pretty sure I predicted him to set up rocks there. I could have been more offensive, potentially, but actually no, this is probably my most offensive play, and it also gives me the most recovery. So we're slowly making our way back up to being able to take another close combat from the Terrakion, which I don't want to have to do, but if I have to do it, then it'd be nice to be at the amount of health that I can. I'm pretty sure that first one put me down to 59, which means it did like 130 something. So we've got a little way to go. This time I do click Leech Seed, I believe. I missed that, I wasn't paying attention to what I clicked. But yeah, I'm pretty sure we click Leech Seed here. As we go through the Intimidate and all this sort of stuff. Hopefully I click Leech Seed, yes I do. Grassy Terrain has gone away, that's something that I should have noticed at the time. I don't think I did. I couldn't tell you because my audio is broken, so who knows? Absolutely no idea. But Leech Seeding was a good play. This does put me, I believe, at enough to be able to take a close combat potentially. What we get up to? Yeah, 144. That should be enough for a close combat. After rocks, it'll be a roll, I think. And here I just don't have a great switch in consistently. Like, I should just switch into Pex. I mean, I could just switch into Pex and like kept clicking Scold, because he very clearly doesn't have the greatest of switching to Toxapex, and this thing isn't doing enough to really make me that worried. I think the main concern here was that he was going to click Earthquake. I was too worried about Earthquake in this game, because I've got grassy terrain, I need to stop thinking people are going to run Earthquake quite so much. My hair is an absolute fucking mess, by the way. It's just absurd. I've been at work, and it goes kind of shit at work. I mean, it's long enough as it is, but after work it's even worse. So he just goes Terrakion. I don't know whether he was making a prediction there, but again, I had the Leech Seed up there. Maybe I could have just clicked sub and seen what I want to go for, or clicked, anything else. Terrakion coming in really hurts me. I should just sack Tyranitar here. Tyranitar realistically is doing nothing for me. As I'm burned, I'm still not doing enough to Lunala. I need to find another way of dealing with Lunala. And I can't keep taking this much damage on my Pex. So I believe I'm going to take a close combat on my Pex, which, he could have made a read. Again, I'm here thinking about Earthquake or potential high horsepower. If he high horsepowers me, it's a chance to do a KO. If he Earthquakes, it's a guaranteed. It's guaranteed with the sand up. Guaranteed to a KO. So me going Tyranitar there really kind of screwed things up, because now the sand's up and I'm not able to take the hit particularly well. So we're going to take rocks. We're going to take the close combat, which does mean he takes some Rocky Helmet and Life Orb, which is a nice amount for him to take. And looking at this back, actually, I think at that amount of health, I was probably okay. Like, even after this Sandstorm chip, what am I at? Like 87? That's well over half. I should have stayed in here, as I'm actually going to switch. I very quickly go out into Rillaboom, and that's a mistake. Like, I'm so sure that he's going to have the ground type move, that he's going to expect me to not want to take the roll. I don't know. Effectively, this was a 50-50 play. If he close combats again, then it's a really good read on his part. If I don't switch out and I just scold, then his biggest, or his win con effectively, or one of his win cons, is just taken out. But if he gets the read right and I switch out, like I'm going to do, then he gets a free KO on something. I think Rillaboom, after it's taken rocks, it was at 144. It took like 132 or something before, so it probably is a roll for close combat to knock me out. We see he stays in, and I'm like, okay, if he's clicked close combat, then that was really bad time for me. 120, I don't think that's a roll. I think that's probably out of range of being a roll. And we're going to see that he does actually click the close combat. He makes a fantastic read, expecting me to not want to risk the Earthquake. In hindsight, looking at how much health I was at, I should have just taken the roll chance. But, it is what it is. He made a great read, so I'm going to end up really being struggling with Terrakion now. I have nothing to outspeed it. I have nothing... no priority to beat it. I've just got to rely on Toxapex. And now at this point, Toxapex is so crucial to me beating this Terrakion that I've got to preserve it way more than I had to do prior. So, this lighting is awful. Genuinely terrible. I need to get some proper lighting at some point. That's on my list, I guess, of things to get. But we're going to go into Pex. This time, he's not going to stay in. I know he's not going to stay in, but I think I just click a Scold anyway. I think it's my best all-round play. If I'm predicting the Swampert to come in, maybe I want to switch it out. But again, I think I just got so thrown by that close combat where I've tried to make an aggressive play and gone out into my Rillaboom. And it's kind of just backfired on me. So I think I was in the business of just playing safe instead of trying to play to make up for my deficit. So I'm going to Scold again, and we're just going to weaken the Swampert. I think this gets a little bit stally around now, where I want to kind of check out his set. See if he is physical or special, because if he's physical, then I can just stay in and I can keep Scolding and just slowly pick up the kill. If he is special, then it's a little bit more of an issue. I would have to recover. I think I'd recover on this turn just to scout anyway, but I would have to recover stall to a point at which I could live 2 hits, 2 Earth Powers from this. Eventually I'm going to recover. There we go. We're going to see that he is special, and this is a much more of a problem for my Toxapex than I initially thought. I am just going to recover spam though, because once the sand goes down, I think I win this. Exchange. Also, when the grassy terrain goes down, he's starting to take more chip. I will be able to just recover stall. It is incredibly stally. It's incredibly shit way of playing, but it was my way of kind of dealing with the Swampert at this point. I lost my Rillaboom, which was a dedicated switch in, so I believe, just click recover again, which is very passive. It's a very passive play, and at any point he could just bring in Lunala and ruin my day. But that's going to be Earth Power. I should have expected Earth Power. I got to like expect things to still be able to hit me for ground type moves to hit me through the grassy terrain. I think I just get so kind of caught up on the fact that, you know, Earthquake exists, and I'm like, okay, everything's going to have Earthquake because my team is weak to ground. And for some reason, I keep forgetting that I've got grassy terrain. I never did this in the past when I've had grassy terrain. For whatever reason with this team, I am currently forgetting about grassy terrain. So yeah, we're going to stay in. I believe we just Scold this time because I know we can take two Earth Powers at this point. So he's going to take the Rocky Helmet chip. Swampert is now super low as he switches out. But he gets a free switch into something. I don't think I wanted to predict necessarily that he was going to switch. I just wanted to Scold because I could take the 2 hits. So he's going to go out into his Xurkitree and take the rocks. We're also going to take the Scold, and we are actually fortunate enough to get the burn. So this Xurkitree, if it's any kind of just like setup set, is less of a problem because we do have a little bit of chip. But like Rillaboom would have been fantastic for this. Grassy Glide would have been great for this. It would have been great for the Terrakion. It kind of just came in and revenged outside of the Salamence. That was the only thing that realistically didn't. I also realized that I'm not playing the music. Like, has the audio entirely died? I think the audio must have entirely died at this point. I don't know, it may also be my headset. Yeah, my headset's come unplugged. Can I hear music now? I can hear music now. Okay. I was thinking that was really weird that I just couldn't hear anything. Yeah, I'm going to switch out because obviously I need my packs to stay alive. And honestly, this Magnezone is not doing all too much for me. So just going to switch out into this. If I have to exchange Magnezone for Xurkitree, I will. I expected this to be like a blunder policy set once I saw sub Hypnosis. He's going to go for Hypnosis here, spoilers. As soon as I saw Hypnosis, I was like, okay, this is going to most likely be blunder policy. And like, as long as if he missed, then Flash Cannon broke the sub. And he is like slowly going to die. After using that sub, he's going to slowly die to just the burn damage, so it can never sweep me anyway. But he can do like a decent-ish chunk with Thunderbolt. Xurkitree still does have like base 180 special attack, so despite the fact that I 4 times resist this, it still does like that's a fair chunk. We are going to wake up first turn, get a Flash Cannon. Like, I guess we're just super lucky with like getting the burns and waking up and all that sort of stuff, but just getting outplayed. So it is what it is. Sometimes that's just how the game be. So you just get lucky, but you still can't capitalize on it. I don't think that drink's going to be enough. I'm not going to lie. I don't think that drink's going to be enough for the rest of the video. But it's too bad I have nothing else. That can is empty. Oh well. So yeah. I switch out into Tyranitar at this point. I think because I didn't want the Hypnosis to miss. So, but he also makes that read. Yeah, if he puts me back to sleep, then that's a bit of a problem. And he just Thunderbolts. He just goes for a damage on the Magnezone. Unfortunate, but now he's going to be taking Burn. He's going to be taking the Sandstorm. And I'm more than happy to trade my Tyranitar at this point. I would say it's done what it was meant to, but it really hasn't done anything in this game. I guess Rocks and Sand has helped out, but it's not done as much so. Like, as he goes for the Grass Knot, picks me off. He could have gone for anything there. He could have gone for Thunderbolt again and been absolutely fine, I don't think. I mean, if I had gone into Groudon, I guess that covered the Groudon play. But this thing's going to go down regardless. And like, we're still not in a terrible position, I guess. It's not looking awful, but he does still have all 3 of his main offensive mons here. And again, I'm like, if Terrakion comes in and is in on anything that's not Toxapex, then it just claims a kill. So I kind of need to go Toxapex, but again, that's like super, super obvious. I think I just played this game way too obviously. Like, it's really obvious on his behalf that like I can't let Terrakion or Weavile come in, so I'm going to go Pex, and he just gets his Lunala in for free. And here I make a terrible play. I'm going to end up staying in here against this Lunala that's going to do like 70-80% at least with a Psychic type move if it doesn't knock me out after rocks. And that's just terrible. Like, that's genuinely an awful play, because like, unless he goes for a Will-O-Wisp or for a Hex or something here, expecting the Victini to come in, I don't know. Like, he wouldn't Hex if Victini's coming in. He wouldn't Willow at least if Victini's coming in. So I just take all of that damage for literally no reason at all. Gonna take Sandstorm. Like, literally, I Scold for 2. Like, it's just such a bad play. Victini can't win this game. It is checked by everything on this team. Like, Victini is incredibly expendable. In fact, it's checked by everything. It literally does nothing in this game, and I just Pex, the one thing that really needed to stay alive, I decided to sack off. So I think at this point I'm just saying, okay, well, this outspeeds the Lunala at least, but I don't think Blue Flare is going to knock it out. Like, in retrospect, Blue Flare did nothing. He could always go into his Salamence and just recover back up. Granted, he didn't know I didn't have Glaciate. He can go into Terrakion and click Stone Edge. He goes into Weavile, clicks Knockoff. Like, the only thing that realistically it can beat now is the Swampert, and it's burned and at 2 HP. Like, it doesn't matter. But I decided to preserve my Victini instead of preserving my Toxapex, you know, my Wincon. So yeah, this kind of was the beginning of the end. Obviously the close combat early game put me on the back foot. This basically just lost me the game. Like, that play there was a big old throw, and yeah, at this point I'm not sure I can even come back from it. I think I'm going to go out into my Victini here, and he just sacks off the Swampert, if I remember rightly. Yeah, okay. I believe I go for a U-turn. Could be wrong. I think I go for a U-turn, expecting Swampert to come in. Or do I just Blue Flare? I just Blue Flare. This thing's a threat. That makes sense. That one play that I've in this entire game, that makes sense, but the rest of them just don't. Like, a lot of these plays were quite bad. This, like, watching this back, this is not a good game. This is a very poorly played game. I would say a poor build as well, but I think even with this build, if I had played better, maybe I had a chance. But I think a combination of at least bad planning on certain mons, like this Victini, I think is very poorly planned. Yeah, between that and just like sacking my Toxapex for no reason, not taking the role earlier on was also a pretty bad play. But, you know, I think that was an excusable play. He made a great read. Like, honestly, I can't fault him for that, or I think, like, he just made the play he needed to make to take out my Rillaboom. And because of that, we ended up just on the back foot, and I'd never made a play to try and get myself back on, like, level par. There's a saying in there somewhere, I'm sure. Then I just go into Magnezone that basically gives him a free kill. All of my mons at this point effectively give him a free kill. Potentially, actually, Magnezone would have been great to keep around. But I think I'm going to end up sacking this to Terrakion. If I had gone Groudon there, maybe I could have, like, forced him into Salamence, potentially, and be able to set up. Yeah, he's just going to go... Why wouldn't you go Terrakion when I'm offering you free tribute to a close combat? There's like literally nothing that I can do, I think, at this point to win this game. But going into Magnezone that gets outsped by it, please don't switch. I mean, actually you can switch because Victini does nothing. Please switch into Victini. Yeah, man's got a Salamence that hard walls it, a Terrakion that kills it, a Weavile that kills it, and a Lunala that kills it. Granted, I outspeed Lunala. Okay, thank you. Please go into. That's good. That's better. I mean, if I was Scarf, then this would be a fantastic play if he doesn't click Stone Edge. Just click combat. Maybe if I try to make a play here and on the predicted Stone Edge go into Groudon or Magnezone, either would probably be fine. If I can just switch around and keep my things alive, I don't think that's even going to be enough. I think Weavile then just cleans up. So, yeah, I think sacking Victini is probably about 10 turns too late. But, man, it's so frustrating watching yourself play back. Especially in a game when initially I knew I didn't play particularly well. But, like, watching it back is just like, there's... Man, this is what, like, watching somebody play Draft League and on the losing side especially, as you got Rock Slide. That, I mean, Rock Slide would have done very little, I think, to Groudon, but crit didn't matter. I'm sure crit didn't matter there. It's Life Orb Terrakion. Crit didn't matter. I could have saved myself potentially a KO here. If it died, then what Weavile would have come in probably. I don't know. The end game here is looking very shaky to say the least because Weavile can pretty much just come in and claim one. I didn't use Groudon at all to try and wall break, which was a bit of a mistake. Granted, I did see it as my endgame win con, but at the same time, like, it didn't outspeed anything. To try and get a Rock Polish off on something was always going to be really difficult. And I think maybe I should have just used it a bit more aggressively to try and claim a KO or force KO early. Because I could have killed his Terrakion maybe earlier. But he's just going to close combat as I'm going to go for the Rock Polish. He only takes one more Life Orb hit anyway. This at least does, like, I don't know, force Weavile in. But that's not necessarily something I want. It would force Weavile to go for Ice Shard. If I can then go out into a Magnezone, I might be able to make a play around that. But Groudon's just too slow. Against the rest of his team, it's probably slower than everything on this team. Especially, yeah, because I don't think it would be like no speed investment Salamence. I think it probably had enough speed to outspeed a Groudon set. I don't remember what his set was, but we're going to Heavy Slam, we're going to pick up the kill. But especially with that Life Orb chip, there's no way we're going to be able to take an Ice Shard from Banded Weavile. The only hope we've got is that it's not banded. If we see it take rocks, then there's a strong chance it's banded, because that's the only other set that really made sense. Even though it was Life Orb, it's still, in fact, Life Orb is even better for him because Life Orb means that it kills both. This and Magnezone, if it has low kick, I think even knockoff probably just takes me out at that point. I was quite physically defensive on Magnezone, so maybe not. But this is the first time that Weavile hits the field in the entire game, and it's literally just to clean up. You don't love to see that. You definitely don't. But yeah, he's going to just go. So I could go into Magnezone here. I could try and make the read. He's going to go for Ice Shard. Like, it makes so much sense. Like, if he goes for anything that's not Ice Shard, then he just dies and he loses. So he has to click Ice Shard there. But I'm just going to go out into my Magnezone. I felt like this was my best way of trying to reclaim some differential, which I guess in a way it was, but I could have also done it whilst preserving Groudon and keeping Groudon alive, maybe to outspeed Salamence, maybe to outspeed Lunala if it was a slow Lunala. We've seen it's fairly physically defensive, so maybe it was slower than my Groudon. But again, like, when I was playing this game, I didn't think of any of this, so that's on me. It's just going to go out into Lunala. I think this probably takes the hit just fine. Flash Cannon, this is analytic boosted, so it's probably going to do a good amount. I don't think that's a KO though. Could be wrong. I don't recall. I mean, I'm just going to click Flash Cannon again. It's going to Hex. I want to say that this should pick up the KO. It's still analytic boosted. It should still be able to knock out this Lunala. Differential preserved. As I believe the Weavile was just going to come back in and click knockoff, and that's going to be the game. So yeah, we're going to watch this last turn play out, but good game to Kurt. I know he has now dropped, unfortunately. He's dropped all of his leagues as far as I'm aware, which is a shame because he was actually like really hitting his stride in Draft League this gen. This is, I believe, actually the first time we lost to Kurt as well, so there is that. Like he definitely played this one really well. Like I know I'm really negative about myself. He made the best read he could when he clicked close combat on that turn. So obviously massive amount of credit goes to him for making that play. But yeah, I felt like my prep could have been better. The way I play could have been better as well. But it's still early season. There's still a few weeks left to go. Being 1-2 is not the end of the world. I think we started last season at 1-2. We maybe been 1-3, and we still managed to make it to semi-finals. So yeah, we just need to make it into playoffs. And when you get into playoffs, anything can happen. But yeah, good game to Kurt. Make sure to go check out his channel. I know he's probably not uploading anytime soon. But yeah, go and check him out. He makes great content. Really good guy as well. So it's a shame that he's gone, but it's a shame that he's gone. Makes it sound really morbid. He's just temporarily, I assume, dropping Mons. Something must have come up that was pretty major for him to do that, because I know after he won this game, he was pretty happy, as you would expect, as you should be when you win games. So yeah, that something must have happened, and if Kurt's watching this, then hope everything's okay, and we see you back in Draft League sometime soon. But yeah, next week we go up against Mario B and his Marshadow. So I actually haven't played that, considering this is upload day for week 3. That's my week 4. I believe I would play my week 5 before I'm playing my week 4. Let me just, I don't know, press play on this so we have some music, because I do a pretty long intro and I go through my sets like in much more depth than I did in this. But yeah, I need to go ahead and upload this now. So if you did enjoy Battle, please leave a like, subscribe so you don't miss out on future Draft League content, as well as other stuff where I've got like quite a few video ideas, quite a few things coming along. So hopefully it's not just Draft League content. It'll be still Mons related, still competitive. Oh, excuse me, competitive Mons related. But it's not all going to just be Draft League battles. But with that, I'm going to head on out of here. Until next one, have a great day, guys.